If you want to know how I write A+ essays that get comments like this from my markers in nursing school, keep watching because I'm going to share with you all of my tips, tricks, and secrets on how to write a top grade assessment. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Charlotte. I'm a second year nursing student at AUT, and today I am going to be showing you how I write my essays for university. I'm currently working on one of my essays for uni. It's for my long-term care and disability paper, and the essay is about autonomy and dignity and how it's important for people with chronic illnesses and how we as nurses can help safeguard those two principles. So that's what my essay is on, and I just thought it would be kind of cool if you guys could come along with me as I write this essay, and I'll just share with you my step-by-step process on how I write my essays. I do just want to start off by saying that the way that I approach essay writing is quite comprehensive, and it definitely doesn't fall into the work smarter not harder category. It's definitely work harder not smarter, but it does work for me, and I've always gotten really good marks with my essays. Especially in uni, I've always gotten A's and A+ for it, so this step-by-step method definitely works for me. I do acknowledge we're all different. What works for me may not work for you, but I just thought because I'm working on this essay anyway, I would just share my tips and tricks and how I write my essays. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And before we get into this comprehensive step-by-step guide on how to write an A+ essay, don't forget to like and subscribe, do all of that good stuff. But for now, let's just open up our laptops, open up our notebooks, and get started. Okay, so first we're going to take a brief look at the assignment and kind of get a grasp on how big the assignment is. So is there a 4,000 word essay, or is it just a 400 word summary of something? Then once we know how big our project is, we can then make a plan on how long we're going to work on it for and make a plan for when we're going to be working on it. I like to start early and do a little bit of work often instead of doing it all at the same, like in one sitting. That works best for me, but if you're one of those people that does best with just getting it over and done with quickly and doing it in big chunks, then that's what you're going to put, and you're going to put it on your calendar. So on my calendar I will put specifically what days I'm going to be working on my essay and for how long, and then that just gives me an idea of how long it's going to take me to finish it. And obviously make sure that you know the deadline and the hand-in time for your essay. So what I will then do is I will look at the question, I will have a look at what is actually asking me, and I will break it down to kind of figure out what I need to show, what I need to demonstrate in order to get a high mark, and what I need to talk about in order to show my understanding. I break this down by looking at the keywords in the sentence. So for example, if there's something that says discuss this or analyze this, the keyword would be discuss or analyze. And then things like, for example, my essay is about autonomy and dignity. Those are going to be the two main principles. So I don't want to be talking about anything else apart from autonomy and dignity. So I'm going to be looking at my keywords, breaking down the question into what it's actually asking me, and figuring out what I need to talk about in order to demonstrate a high understanding and therefore get a good grade. So before I've even looked at my resources, I will start making like a basic essay plan. So I know that I need an introduction and a conclusion, and I want at least 3 body paragraphs. So I kind of already have the skeleton of my essay, and then what I will do is underneath each of these bones of the essay, if you will, I will add kind of the draft themes that I want to talk about. These can change as I start writing my essay, but this is just me kind of thinking about what I'm going to be writing about, what I'm going to be talking about, and therefore what resources I will then have to look at. So start with the basic essay plan, and then come up with 1 or 2 little themes, draft themes, for what you kind of want to talk about for each part of your essay. So after that, I'm going to be thinking about the types of resources that I'm going to use. So in my essay, the instructions were quite clear that we needed to have recent resources. So I think it was no earlier than 2012. So I know that 2012 is going to be my cutoff date. And it was also saying, peer-reviewed academic sources. So look at your assignment instructions, see if they've got any specific specific instructions about the types of resources to use, and you can start there. When I'm thinking about the types of resources that I want to use to demonstrate my understanding about the topic that I'm talking about or writing about, I will first look at the course resources of the paper. So for long-term care and disability, they have a section on their website and it has course resources, and it's textbooks, academic journals, articles, videos and stuff, and these are all related to the paper. And because it's related to the paper specifically, it will help me with my essay in some cases. So first I look at the course resources, and then I'm going to be thinking about what textbooks I'm going to use, whether I'm going to be using YouTube videos, academic articles. I also want to be looking for websites and articles and stuff that have statistics in them, because I can use those statistics to back up my points I'm going to be making. And I will be using my AUT library, the online library, where I can put filters in like peer reviewed and the date and stuff. So I would recommend using, if you've got an institution online library, using that. You can also use public libraries, go online, Google Scholar as well is really good. So the resources that I collect during my kind of searching, I may not use all of them, some of them may not even be relevant. I'm just doing a quick skim to see, like through the abstract, through the titles, through the discussion part of the academic journals. I'm just doing a quick skim to see if it could be something that I could use. And then once I have got all of my collected resources, I'm going to organize them into the themes of my essay. And to do that, I'm going to be going through them a little bit more in depth and seeing if they're actually relevant to what I'm talking about. If they are, then I'll place them under a certain spot in my essay. So for example, my first paragraph of my essay was about the definitions of dignity and autonomy. So if I had a specific resource which had a really good explanation of what those principles were, that would go under that heading. So as you're doing this, continue to read through your resources a little bit more in depth and just figure out which ones are relevant and valuable to you and will actually answer your points and back them up really well, because the resources that you choose to use, they're going to be the things that are going to show that you're understanding what you're talking about. So once I've organized all of my resources into the appropriate places that I'm kind of going to be using them in, I'm going to review the resources yet again, and this time I'm going to pull relevant quotes and information, statistics, points and stuff, and making sure to note the page number and where it's come from. And I'm going to jot the points of information and the page number underneath the resource link, just so I know where it's come from, I know which part of the essay it's going to go into. This is just me being hyper organized, but as I say, this works really well for me, and this is how I do all of my essays. Once I have gotten all of this information and I've kind of pieced it together where I want it to go, I'm going to look through it all and just kind of have a think about, what I'm going to be writing about again, whether I'm going to make any changes. Sometimes when you're looking through your resources, you'll find bits of information that will change your perspective on things and maybe change your argument, change your discussion points. So when you look through it for the final time, you're just going to be kind of thinking about how you're going to string it all together and make it make sense. Once you've done all this, just write. So literally just jot down everything that's in your head. Do not worry if it doesn't make sense. Don't worry if it's a truly crap piece of writing. Don't worry about it. Just write anything that's in your head, get it down, out of your head onto the paper. Don't worry about the word count. It's just your first draft. You're going to be editing everything later. You just need to get something. And it also means that if you end up being like really close to your deadline, even if it's a terrible essay, you still have something to hand in. So just write anything that comes to your head, put it down on the paper and just do it. Once you have gotten your first draft done, the next thing you're going to be doing is starting your first revision. So for my first revision, all I will do is focus on making it make sense. So I'm going to be looking at the grammar, spelling, coherency. I'm not thinking about word count. I'm not thinking about sources and my references and stuff. I'm just thinking about grammar, spelling, and coherency. Once you finish your first revision, you're going to read through it again, do your second revision. In the second revision, you want to start cutting out or adding in pieces to meet your word count. When you're doing this, you want to be prioritizing the most important information and cut out any waffles or repetitions. You might even have to cut out points that you're really proud of making but just aren't that important to what you're actually discussing. So the second revision is all about cutting it down or adding more in order to meet the word count and build a stronger argument. So you can either put your reference list in at the very end once you've finished your drafts. So by this I mean just before you upload your checks to Studiosity, you're going to go through your sources, go through your essay, find everything that you've used your source for and put it in your reference list. Or you can do what I do, which is just build your reference list as you go. I find that this just kind of gives me peace of mind that I'm not going to be forgetting any sources and that my referencing is going to be academically friendly, I guess. So that's what I do. And as I'm putting in the reference list, I'm also making sure that all of the parts are correct for APA 7th, which is the referencing that AUT uses. So that's what you can do with your reference list. Either put it in at the very end after you finish writing everything, or do what I do and just put it in as you go. Anytime that you use a source, stop writing, just go to your reference list, quickly add it in, and then it's done. So now what you're going to be doing is you are going to be sending your essay away for someone to check it and peer review it. So AUT uses a study checker, like an essay checker called Studiosity, and pretty much all you have to do is upload your document to Studiosity and someone somewhere in the world will look for your essay and they will check for things like grammar, spelling, coherency, structure and references, which is just brilliant. They won't do anything to write your essay for you, so it's not cheating. It's just really, them making sure that your essay makes sense and that it's grammatically correct and all of that. And they give you suggestions so that you can go back and edit it. Upload it to Studiosity. If your uni doesn't use Studiosity, then I would recommend giving it to someone either in your uni cohort, and you can do like a essay swap where you read theirs, they read yours and stuff. Just get someone to give your essay a check, and you want them to be giving you constructive feedback. You don't want them just to be saying, oh, this is really good and stuff. No, you ask for constructive criticism and that will make your essay a lot better. It gives you stuff to work on and improve on and just make it the best essay it can be. Once you get your feedback back, then you can start your third revision. So this is just making changes to your essay based on the feedback that you've given. It shouldn't be a huge step because you've already kind of gone through it twice. And this is just a quick little thing just to make sure it's coming together, and then you're almost done. I would upload it for, what I do is I upload it for a final time to Studiosity just to give it that last once over, so they're looking over your final draft. This is the time for any final feedback and advice. For your fourth and final revision, you may not have to do anything if you don't get any advice back from that final peer chat. Your fourth revision, if you do get advice back, is just again going over your essay and just touching it up using the advice that you got from your peer review and just making your essay absolutely brilliant. And then all you have to do now is upload it to your institution and give yourself a pat on the back because you did it. You wrote a perfect essay. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed and that you found the video helpful. Let me know in the comments what your tips and tricks are for essay writing. I always love learning new things and learning how other people kind of approach their assignments. Yeah, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, do all of that good stuff. I'll see you next Monday with a new video. Until then, have a lovely day and a fabulous week. Bye!
It's rated X. That means you're extra, extra.